The sixth ground for divorce was talkativeness. Ever since entering Lan Clan, he hadn't shut his mouth. Wouldn't this rule apply to him? He flipped through the explanation. Talkativeness didn't mean just talking too much everywhere. It referred to gossiping, spreading rumors, and twisting facts. That didn't quite fit him either. The hope grew even more distant, and Wangxian was starting to be distressed. Since when did getting kicked out become so difficult? He held his breath and focused on the last line. The seventh ground for divorce is theft. Wangxian rubbed his chin. This one could work. This one could really work. Stealing things. Wasn't that easy? He threw the booklet back into his Changkun pouch, and with a light leap, he landed on the top of the nearest and tallest rooftop. From this vantage point, he had a clear view and immediately spotted the majestic and ancient Treasure Pavilion's corner tower. The Treasure Pavilion held the most precious and rare magical artifacts of the Gusu Lan clan. If he was going to steal, he might as well steal something big, something grand. He wasn't afraid of Lan Wangji clinging to him relentlessly. Just as he reached near the Treasure Pavilion, he heard the voices of nearby patrolling guards. "Have you heard? Young Master Wei has gone missing, and second young Master Lan is gathering everyone on the mountain to search for him." The listener was astonished. Gone? Missing? How can a living person just disappear? The other person shrugged. "I think Wei Ying might have stirred up some trouble in the back mountain, maybe messed with some monster's lair and got caught up. Or perhaps he caused some destruction and is hiding in the mountain caves to avoid Mr. Lan's anger." Another person said, "But I heard second young master ordered the mountain gates to be sealed off, strictly preventing anyone from escaping." Could it be something serious happened? Another person chimed in, "I heard that the young couple had a fight. Wei Ying wants a divorce. But second young master refused. So Wei Ying left in a fit of anger." One person was shocked. "Divorce? But I see the two of them usually get along very well." Another person agreed, Yes, to be honest, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed it. Last time, during class, Wei Ying somehow got injured and he..." One person couldn't listen any longer. All right. We are on duty. Be fully alert and watch for any sign of Wei Ying. If anyone spots him, block him immediately and report right away. Let second young master decide." Hearing this, Wangxian was stunned. He didn't expect Lan Wangji to take action so quickly. He had not gone far before being wanted all over the mountain, quickly patting an invisibility talisman on his chest to calm his nerves. But even with the aid of the talisman, the guards were exceptionally alert, their patrols tightly sealed with no gaps. He circled around the outskirts of the Treasure Pavilion for most of the day, but couldn't find an opportunity to sneak in. The talisman's power depleted and fell to the ground limply. Wangxian then left dejectedly. In the evening, he caught 2 fat fish by the stream, roasted and ate them all, and then wandered aimlessly here and there. To avoid crowds, he unknowingly walked to a remote place. In front of him was a simple and secluded small house, with purple flowers in the courtyard illuminated by the remnants of the evening glow, looking desolate and coldly beautiful. Wangxian's heart was stirred by this accidental scene of bleakness, and he couldn't help but walk towards it. Entering through the gate, he discovered that the interior was clean and orderly, clearly maintained regularly. However, the sparse and simple surroundings made it seem as though no living person resided there. He had been bouncing around outside for most of the day and was already somewhat tired. After walking around the house and not finding any traces of people, he stretched and then collapsed onto the bed. Not long after, he fell into a deep sleep, in a muddled state. He turned over feeling as if he was still there in his dreams, with laughter and playful banter making it quite lively. A woman spoke to him for a while, dressed in indigo clothes with a cold and beautiful appearance, her eyes pale in color, evoking a peculiar sense of familiarity. However, the details of the dream, specifically what the woman said, he couldn't recall. The faint, floral fragrance lingering in the dream seemed to have spread to the couch and even clung to him. A sound of slow, heavy footsteps came from outside. Wangxian was startled and quickly climbed out of bed. With a creak, the wooden door was pushed open. In a moment of urgency, he swiftly patted another invisibility talisman on himself. The sky outside was already dark, and the person who entered, dressed in snowy white attire, resembled a delicate hue in the deep night. It was none other than QingHeng Jun, the head of the Lan family. Wangxian didn't dare move a muscle. The room wasn't large, and it was so quiet that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. Any slight noise would immediately be noticed. Moreover, the invisibility talisman didn't truly make one invisible. It merely used a color disguise to confuse the eye. Upon close examination, it would quickly be seen through. Therefore, Wangxian even suppressed his breathing, feeling anxious. Fortunately, QingHeng Jun seemed preoccupied with his own matters and didn't pay attention to the surroundings. First, he picked a few small purple flowers from outside and placed them in a vase. Then, he walked straight to the wardrobe, found a feather duster hidden in a corner, and carefully dusted off the floating dust on the shelves, gently touching and straightening each item as he went along. While he was performing these chores, the cold and aloof expression in his eyes softened slightly. Finally, he retrieved a small dark box from a locked drawer, placed it on the table, and then slowly seated himself. He stared at the box and gently stroked it. The box was simply adorned and quite unremarkable, showing no indication of its significance. QingHeng Jun did not open it, but just sat there quietly, gazing at the box, seemingly immersed in memories that were at times bitter and at times sweet. Seeing that QingHeng Jun remained seated for a long time without any intention of leaving, Wangxian's legs started to go numb. He thought that if things continued this way, he might have to endure the whole night with him in the room. Steadying his nerves, he began to carefully inch towards the door. However, this action inevitably produced faint sounds. QingHeng Jun was slightly startled and looked in the direction of the sound. Wangxian froze in place with an awkward posture, as if he had been possessed by a mischievous ghost. QingHeng Jun's gaze passed through him and landed on the bed behind him. The immaculately neat bedding, which was like a block of snow tofu, now bore a faint, person-shaped impression formed by creases, clearly indicating where Wangxian had been sleeping earlier. QingHeng Jun's expression changed, and he shouted, "Who's there?" Knowing he couldn't escape, Wangxian tore off the talisman from his body and respectfully knelt on the ground. He nervously stammered, "I'm sorry, I barged in here without permission." QingHeng Jun's angry gaze gradually turned to one of suspicion. "You are Xian." Wangxian pressed his lips together, contemplating whether to respectfully refer to him as QingHeng Jun. He recalled his status and considered that he ought to say father. However, given that he was currently in a spat with Lan Wangji and was planning to flee the Lan family's estate, he felt uneasy with that title. After much internal struggle, he softly muttered, "Sect Leader Lan." QingHeng Jun looked puzzled and asked, "Why are you here?" Wangxian pursed his lips just as the sound of patrolling footsteps approached from outside. Among the hushed whispers of the guards, he faintly heard phrases like Ying, second young master Lan, and can't find. Nervously, he glanced outside. QingHeng Jun observed him for a moment before speaking. "I've heard that you've had a falling out with Wangji and are planning to leave Yunshen." Wangxian remained silent, bracing himself for a severe reprimand and anticipating being tied up and thrown back in front of Lan Wangji. And to his surprise, QingHeng Jun said, "Rest assured, you can hide here. I won't report you. The matter between you and Wangji is a private issue between the two of you. I won't interfere." Wangxian's eyes widened in disbelief at his good fortune, still somewhat apprehensively watching QingHeng Jun. The two remained silent for a moment. Wangxian pondered, wondering if this meant he could just leave. However, since the elder did not speak further, he dared not be disrespectful. Moreover, although QingHeng Jun had said he wouldn't interfere, the fact remained that what Wangxian intended to do was offensive to the Lan clan and concerned the future of his cherished son. Both logically and emotionally, QingHeng Jun should be extremely displeased with him. Therefore, Wangxian knelt there for a long time, not daring to make a sound or move rashly.